Joe. He'll walk you through the concepts on the go. If there's any device you've got, see the show. Cowboy Joe. Cowboy Joe.
Howdy folks, Cowboy Joe here with a recapitulation of section 12.11 on temperature and thermal energy, focusing on calorimetry. Your goal by the end of this video lecture will be able to calculate the final temperature of a system and calculate the specific heat of a metal using thermal equilibrium. So thermal equilibrium is nothing more than the balancing of energy between faster moving particles and colder moving particles. Imagine a hot object like your hand placed on a cold object like maybe the counter. Eventually, all the energy from your hand will be balanced by the energy from the cold, and they will end at a temperature in between the original temperatures. So they will keep transferring energy in the form of collisions until they are the same temperature. And we call that thermal equilibrium, the state at which the rate of energy flow between two objects is equal and the objects are at the same temperature. What we do is we apply that to the law of conservation of energy, which says energy can't be created or destroyed. The energy from one plus the energy from the other, maybe the energy absorbed by the desk or the countertop, plus the energy released by your hand has to equal zero. Energy can't be created or destroyed. So if both energies are heat energies, then both formulas would be Q. So this formula right here is one formula that we're going to use in order to calculate different properties of the objects. For example, if we had item A, and that's what all the subscripts A represent, item A to be maybe water, and item B to be maybe a metal. We could place a metal of certain temperature into the water that is at a different temperature and maybe calculate different things like the specific heat of the metal, which would be all this data over here to the right of the plus. If we continued our derivation, we could distribute this MC into this binomial and do the same thing over here. And the goal here is to find a formula for the final temperature, because it is the same for both objects. This data right here on the left side of this plus is for one of the items that you're mixing, and this is the mass, specific heat, and the temperatures of the other item. But the one item that is shared between the two, the one data that is the same, is going to be that TF. So if we solve for that TF by distributing, removing the terms that don't have a TF, adding them to both sides, and factoring out that TF and dividing by the coefficient, we end up with a formula for TF. Now this formula is a big formula. We're going to show you how to use this formula. But on the left side of the pluses would be properties of one of the objects. And on the right side of the pluses would be properties of the other object, the mass of the other object, the specific heat. Now notice those guys are duplicated right below each other, but you don't have the T here. This is the formula you want to use to find the final temperature of two things that are mixing, maybe hot coffee and cold milk. If you measure the mass of the hot coffee, the specific heat of the coffee, and the original temperature of the hot coffee, and then again write the mass of the coffee, the specific heat of the coffee, all that on the left side of the pluses would be the coffee. Everything on the right side would be the milk. Now the mass of the milk, the specific heat of the milk, and the original temperature of the milk. And this again is repeated, the mass of the milk, the specific heat of the milk. Get all those numbers in there, and I'll show you how to work it. But you can calculate the final temperature of the mixture. All right, this study is the study of really what calorimetry is all about. Measuring specific heat is one of the properties of this calorimetry, but calorimetry is experimental measurement of thermal energy transfers using a calorimeter. Calorimeter is nothing more than a device that sort of keeps the external world from affecting your experiment. It's an isolated system used to determine quantities of thermal energy that's transferred. So this is a cutout view of the inside of this container, but this is insulated with an air. Air, remember, is the best insulator. So you got that insulation to protect your experiment. You're trying to figure out what that final temperature is. This is a thermometer, and maybe you put a little metal cylinder in water. So the metal cylinder is in water, and you're trying to figure out the final temperature. But you can get pretty good data just with a styrofoam cup. So a styrofoam cup would be an example of a simple calorimeter. So let's look at a couple examples. A metal cylinder is placed in water, and it says what is the specific heat of that metal cylinder. If we looked at that formula, we won't want the big fraction. We only want this one. Let's go back here a second, back up here. You would want to start with this formula right here in the derivation process when it asks you to find the specific heat. All of this algebra isn't needed, but when you're asked to find the final temperature, then you start with this other one. So both equations are found in that derivation process, but if it says specific heat and you're mixing two items, then you want to use this formula. So let's say on the left side is going to be the metal's properties. So this is the mass of the metal, which is given to be a metal cylinder, 105 grams. So kilograms would be 0.105. This is the specific heat of the metal, which is what the question is asking for. That'll be the unknown. This is the final temperature of the metal, which is the one data that is shared between both terms. So this is 43, and the beginning temperature of the metal, which is at 75. So throw in those numbers and the unknown. And on the right-hand side of the plus to the left of the equal is the properties of the water. So it's placed in 0.352 grams or kilograms of water. That's going to be your M sub B. Your specific heat of water, item B, is water, is 4180. The final temperature of the water is going to be 43. It's the one number that's shared in both terms. And the original, this is the original temperature of the water, which, where's that at? Right up here, 37 degrees. So now here's your long equation, and we're solving for this symbol C. If you subtract, you get a negative 32. And if you add that term to both sides, that negative disappears. So now we can jump to our calculator. So our calculator should multiply 0.352 times 4180 times 6, which is the temperature change on this side, 43 minus 37, divided by 0.105 divided by 32 to get our answer of 2600. So again, the question is, what is the specific heat of the metal? When you're asked that question, you want to use the long formula. I'll call it the long formula and the big fraction. All right, here we go. Another problem here. This one says you're going to mix water. And what do you place in water? We're going to place a block of zinc in water. The water's at 15. The block of zinc's at 115. So a hot block of zinc in the water. And the question is, what's the final temperature? Using our final temperature formula, we can plug in all the numbers, all the data for the block of zinc on the left. So this is the mass of the zinc, which is this 0.040. The specific heat of zinc coming from the table is 388. And the beginning temperature of the zinc, which would be 115 degrees C. The 0.040 and the 388, remember, just get copied down underneath the division bar. Plus, now everything on the right side of the pluses. Deal with the water. So we got the mass of the water, which is right here at the beginning, 0.50 times the specific heat of water coming from the table, 4180. And then times the beginning temperature of the water, which is 15. The mass and the specific heat get copied down. So now change this big fraction into four numbers. Find the product of each of these four terms, and then add the top, add the bottom, and then divide. And we get our answer for this one. So it's going to be 16 degrees, the final temperature. Geez, it started at 15. That hot zinc got placed in there, and it only went to 16. Why? Well, look at the numbers here. Zinc has a specific heat of 388 and water is 4180. It's hard to change the temperature of water because this number's so big. Remember, that's what that number tells you. So zinc will change its temperature quickly. All right, let's look at another problem. This is number 3 out of 4, and we're placing water in water. So when you place water in water, some things will cross cancel. A lot of people like to cross cancel on a big fraction inappropriately. I'll go over that skill in a minute. But we got to use this big fraction. So on the left side, let's put the 200 grams, which should be 0.2 times 4180 from the chart times the beginning temperature of 80. And again, the mass and the specific heat get copied down. Now let's look at the right side of the pluses. This is the second water data. Is mixed with, again, 0.200 times 4180 times 10. And then again, the mass and the specific heat are copied down. So now for this one, people want to cross cancel a 0.2 and a 0.2 if it's right here with this term, but this 0.2 has to be a factor of the entire numerator. So if it's in every single term that you see, then you can cross cancel it. And it is. So 0.2 and 0.2 and 0.2 and 0.2 can be cross canceled. You factor them out of each binomial, and then you can cross cancel. Same with the 4180, it's all over the place. You see it in every term, it's in every term. So if you factor it out, it can be cross canceled. So what's left? You have an 80 plus a 10. What's left on the bottom? It's not nothing. Some people think it's nothing, but it's not. There's something here. When you cross cancel, you're left with 1. You're dividing the top and the bottom by 0.2. 0.2 divided by 0.2 is 1. 0.2 divided by 0.2 is 1. Same with a 4180. So you got 1 times 1, which is 1, plus 1 times 1, which is 1. So you got plus 2. So all that's left is 80 plus 90, or plus 10, which is 90, divided by 2, which is 45. If you did the math, it'll still work out to 45 degrees. So do we change the water's temperature a little bit here with the water? Well, yeah, water and water. It's going to be right down the dead center. So if you got 10-degree water and 80-degree water, remember to find that number right in the middle, add them up, divide by 2. That's all you got to do. Let's look at the last problem. Here we got some alloy of lead. It's not pure lead. Pure lead's 130, but an alloy of lead, we don't know what the specific heat is. Fission weights with a mass of 300 grams. That's 0.300 kilograms. So this is, what's the question? What is the specific heat? So you're mixing two items. So we're going to use that long equation from the Law of Conservation of Energy. Remember, on the left side of this plus sign is going to be all the data dealing with the metal. So we got the lead, which is 300, which is 0.3. We got the final temperature, which is the only number that's shared, 45, minus the original of the lead, which is 100. Now on the right hand side of the plus, we have the data for the water. So what was the mass of the water? Right there, 100. Fancy way of writing 100. So that's 0.1 times the specific heat of water, which is, you're going to have that memorized by the time you're done with this chapter, 4180. And then the change in temperature. That final temperature again is 45, but the water started at 35. So 45 minus 35. Now, if you do your math work right, this will reduce nicely. This subtraction here gives us negative 55. That negative can float out front, and we can add it to both sides, which results in this equation. So now you can go straight to your calculator. 0.1 times 4180 times 10 divided by 0.3 divided by 55 gives us the specific heat of this alloy lead fission weight. It's not pure lead, and I'll make sure that I say whether it's pure or not in the question, but this one is an alloy. It's 253. It's got something mixed in with it. So that's it, folks. We got two calorimetry equations that are derived from the law of conservation of energy, or the first law of thermodynamics, which is basically a restatement of the law of conservation of energy. One is the big fraction. So when you're asked to find the final temperature of a mixture, you want to use the big fraction. The stuff on the left side of the plus is item 1, properties of item 1. The stuff on the right side of the plus are properties of item 2. And the other one we want to use is this long equation that we also derived. And you want to use this one when you're asked to find C, the specific heat of a metal. So that's it, folks. Cowboy Joe out.
Cowboy Joe. Cowboy Joe.